Hello, my name is Isabella Engblom, and the title of my research project is A Feminist Analysis of Gone Girl, a critique of postfeminism and neoliberalism. The purpose of this project was to use the lens of feminist criticism to analyze the theme of revenge in the film Gone Girl. To start, I'd like to give a quick plot summary of Gone Girl. This 2014 film, directed by David Fincher and based off the novel written by Gillian Flynn, begins when Nick Dunne comes home to find that his wife Amy has gone missing. An investigation proceeds very quickly, and the public also turns on Nick when it is revealed that he had been cheating on Amy with a much younger woman. Nick also begins to realize that this entire series of events has been carefully orchestrated by his wife in order to frame him for her murder and to get him sent to death row. Meanwhile, Amy is enjoying her newfound freedom. That is, until she is robbed and forced to move in with her ex-boyfriend. She then murders her ex-boyfriend and frames him for her kidnapping. Amy returns home to the cheers of her community. Nick plans to leave Amy, but Amy reveals that she is pregnant with their child, essentially blackmailing Nick into being the perfect husband that she wants him to be. This film is often grouped into the good for her subgenre of films in which female characters are allowed to be just as evil and manipulative as their male counterparts and are often celebrated for doing so. However, in this presentation, I will be arguing that Gone Girl presents a much deeper social commentary. Amy says, Nick Dunne took my pride and my dignity and my hope and my money. He took and took from me until I no longer existed. That's murder. Revenge is a central theme to this narrative, and in this presentation, I will be arguing that this revenge represents deeper social issues. First, I'd like to define some of the concepts that are important to my argument. The first is postfeminism. Postfeminism represents a shift in media representation of women and is often related to the girl power movement. This focuses on choice, independence, and liberation of the body. It also argues that feminism is no longer needed, as gender equality has been achieved and women are free to become whatever they want to be. It is also mainly focused on individually defined empowerment. Neoliberalism is a complicated economic concept, but what's important to know from my argument is that it represents the worldwide spread of free markets and free trade. It's rooted in entrepreneurialism, competition, self-interest, and individual empowerment, and also individual responsibility within the economy. As you may be able to see, the focus on the individual is deeply related to the concepts of postfeminism. I'd also like to talk about white femininity. Postfeminism and neoliberalism have combined to create the ideal image of a white woman. Consumer culture and access to success has allowed white women to become economically independent and desirable. They are empowered to do it all, attend prestigious universities, have successful careers, and be mothers all at the same time. But this has increased the marginalization of non-white women. As white women perform their femininity in very specific ways and conforming to very specific ideals, they are allowed to share power with their white male counterparts. However, they have also often left behind the empowerment of marginalized women in exchange for their own empowerment within these higher circles. This leads us to the character of Amy Dunne. Amy Dunne is the perfect post-feminist woman. She's highly educated. She has a successful writing career in New York City, and she has the picturesque marriage. Because of her status as an affluent white woman, she has been led to believe that she deserves a certain style of life. But what happens when this is threatened? This film takes place during the 2008 economic recession. Both Nick and Amy lose their jobs, and they are forced to move away from the social scene of New York City and into the much more isolating Midwest. The final straw comes when Nick cheats on Amy, and Amy finds out about this. This leads us to Amy's revenge. It might seem like Amy is just taking revenge on her husband for cheating on her with a much younger woman. But the truth is, her revenge is not just against her husband, but against the system that deluded her into believing that she was valued in the first place. Amy conformed to standards of femininity in exchange for power and status. She was white, thin, blonde, and sexually available for her husband. This can be seen in the ways that she alters her appearance after she goes missing. She cuts her hair and dyes it a mousy brown color. She eats burgers to gain weight. All of these represent her rejecting the standards of femininity that she previously had conformed to. Amy's character and her revenge is a representation of the false promises of post-feminism and neoliberalism. And the themes of this movie critique the power given to white women. It shows how they have abandoned the empowerment of their marginalized peers, but it also shows an argument of how post-feminism and neoliberalism has harmed white women as well. It has deluded them into believing that they are able to share power in a deeply unequal society. Amy says, Nick loved a girl I was pretending to be. Cool girl. Men always use that, don't they, as their defining compliment. She's a cool girl. Cool girl is hot. Cool girl is game. Cool girl is fun. Cool girl never gets angry at her man. This iconic cool girl monologue by Amy perfectly shows all of the standards of femininity she believed she had to conform to in order to share power. It also shows how she has become disillusioned with these ideals and how she has realized that her status as a white woman and her status as an affluent woman cannot save her from being mistreated. In conclusion, Gone Girl is embedded with deep commentary on gender, race, and class, and these issues continue to be prevalent in modern society. Yet the themes of this film are often overlooked. Amy is often considered to be an iconic psychopath, and this film is often grouped into the good for her subgenre. However, I argue that Amy's character is much more than an iconic psychopath. She is a representation of the failures of post-feminism and neoliberalism, both for marginalized women and white women. Amy says, "You think I'd let him destroy me and end up happier than ever? No effing way." Amy is an intense and powerful character, and she will go after the lifestyle that she has been promised by whatever means necessary. And by doing so, she reveals some of the deeper social issues that continue to be prevalent in our society. Thank you for listening to this presentation, and I want to give special thanks to Dr. C for mentoring me through this project.